The LG G4c is a cut-down version of the LG G4, sharing its style but grafting it onto a smaller, more affordable phone. However, at £229 it's not exactly that cheap, with the LG G3 available for just a few notes more. And some fairly intrusive performance issues mean it's not even a top contender among the growing number of 5-inch quad-core mid-range phones. LG G4c, Design. The LG G4c looks like a pretty plain mid-range phone front-on. It's black, fairly sharp-edged, and has software soft keys, leaving the LG logo the only attention-grabbing element up front. It's on the back where we find the LG G4 family resemblance that earns this phone its name. The LG G4c has diamond-shaped contours embossed into its rear, just like the non-leathery LG G4. LG likes to call this cover style ceramic, but it feels a lot more like good old standard plastic when you prise the thing off and bend it with your hand. Still, the style is a cut above most of the aggressively priced 5-inch phones we see. It's a lot more assured than the EE Harrier, for example, which tries to avoid looking like a bland, anonymous budget mobile by plastering its back with a faux brushed metal finish. The front of the LG G4c also has a very slight curvature to it. Not that you'd notice unless you were told, mind. The bit that really alters how the phone feels to use is the control style. Like so many other LG phones, the LG G4c has buttons on the back rather than the sides. It's the usual trio of volume buttons plus power button. LG G4c, Screen. You could say the same for the screen too. The LG G4c has what is the current display template for a great upper budget or mid-range phone, a 5-inch screen with a 720p panel. It's fairly sharp, colors are reasonably good. Neither area is quite perfect, with color tones looking a touch dark, but then slight compromise is the norm for a mid-range phone like this. One of the issues that's no surprise when you consider this is a somewhat cheaper phone is that the LG G4c is pretty prone to fingerprint marks. This becomes obvious when the screen catches the light, which can be a problem when you take the phone outside. Outdoors visibility is fairly decent, but by no means remarkable. LG G4c, Software and Performance. The LG G4c runs Android 5.0.2 Lollipop at the time of our review, a pretty recent version of Google's OS. But you don't get vanilla Android here. One of the more major functional differences of the LG G4c's software is totally optional. If you like, you can add notification drawer and note-taking buttons to the soft key bar. The quick memo button lets you scribble away on the screen and then save the results to the phone's gallery. There's just 8 GB storage in the LG G4c, so once you've installed a couple of games and taken a bunch of pictures, you will find memory running out. LG's system customizations mean just under 5 GB of the initial storage is chomped up. This is around the norm for an 8 GB phone. This sort of lag in cheaper phones has become much more of an issue since Android Lollipop arrived. Where 1 GB RAM and a quad-core processor was enough to virtually guarantee you satisfying performance with Android 4.4, all bets are off these days. When not dealing with unpredictable juggling of memory, the LG G4c does perfectly fine. It has the Snapdragon 410 processor, an up-to-date entry mid-level CPU that has proved capable of running 720p phones near lag-free in the past. We hope LG manages to fix this with an update, as it's largely responsible for the dim reception we've given the phone. LG G4c, Camera. The LG G4c has an 8-megapixel camera on the back and a 5-megapixel selfie cam up front. Plenty of phones at the price are starting to offer 13-megapixel cameras, getting you more detail in good lighting. However, there's more to a camera than detail. Here we get a mixture of good and bad performance elements that add up to a phone with a fairly good hit rate, but a fairly low ceiling when it comes to pure image quality. On the positive side, the LG G4c is great at getting you bright-looking daylight photos, even when the sun's just out of the shot. In some budget phones we've used recently, this tends to result in a very grim, dim-looking foreground as the camera brain struggles to meter correctly. The LG G4c gives you almost zero control over the camera's settings. There's no HDR mode, no scene modes and no filters. It's even simpler than the iPhone's camera app. There's touch focusing, the option for grid lines and a shutter button. That's about it. We don't mind as much as we might do, because as long as you're shooting in daylight the LG G4c doesn't need to lean on an HDR mode as some other cheaper phones do. But many of you will probably miss the extras like this and panorama. LG G4c, battery life. The LG G4c has a 2540 mAh battery, a sensible but ultimately not class-leading size for a phone with a screen of this size. It gets you pretty good stamina, similar to what we squeezed out of the Moto G4 Guaranis. On an average day where you don't hit the LG G4c too hard, you should end up with around 30% by bedtime to take you through to the next day. LG G4c, call and sound quality. Back to the trend of being good but not great, the LG G4c has a single speaker on its rear that gets you passable sound quality, with a stronger than average mid-range that stops the small driver from sounding too tinny. Volume from the call speaker is fairly good, loud enough that use it in a moderately quiet room and the loudest setting is uncomfortable. Should I buy the LG G4c? The LG G4c is a 5-inch 720p phone sold at a slight premium over the growing range of similar phones like the Moto G4G and Vodafone Smart Prime 6. However, it doesn't have any serious benefits while also suffering from some pretty irritating lag. You can do better at the price, with the Honor 6 getting you an upgrade in almost every respect for the same money. Even the Sony Xperia M4 Aqua, another big-name rival in this class, offers better value and doesn't suffer from quite the same performance problems.